Greetings, hello, and welcome everyone to our virtual celebration of the International Albinism Awareness Day 2021. My name is Nadine Nurnay. I'm a person with albinism from Germany, and I will be your host today. I am very delighted to have here with me in our little virtual studio two leaders of the Global Albinism Alliance, the official organizer of this event. First, we have Mike McGowan from Chicago. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Nadine. It is great to be here with you today.
Thank you so much for joining us today. And then we have Antoine Glixon from Paris. Bonjour, Antoine.
Bonjour, Nadine, and thank you all for joining us today. Merci.
Yes, thank you all for joining us. We have such an exciting program lined up for you today to celebrate the worldwide albinism community. This year's theme is Strength Beyond All Odds. For the next 50 minutes or so, we will hear from three very talented performers with albinism, whose music will inspire us and give us strength to carry on. We will hear from over 20 albinism organizations from around the world, who were able to stay strong by delivering services in the face of uncertainty due to the pandemic. We will hear from a woman who beat all the odds to become the UN independent expert on the enjoyment of human rights by persons with albinism. And last but not least, it will be my pleasure to talk to Antoine and Mike about the progress of the Global Albinism Alliance. I have heard that over the past year and with very little resources, their team has done impressive work, moving the worldwide albinism community closer to a sustainable alliance. To get things started, Peter Ogig is here to perform an original song that he composed especially for International Albinism Awareness Day 2021. Peter, a person with albinism, is not only a very talented singer and songwriter. He is also co-founder of Source of the Nile Union of Persons with Albinism in Uganda. After he and his family were shunned and discriminated against, Peter showed strength beyond all odds to become an effective advocate for people with albinism.
Hello everyone, I'm Peter Ogig from Uganda. I'm the Executive Director of Source of the Nile Union of Persons with Albinism, SNUPA. We thank God for this great day as we are celebrating the International Albinism Awareness Day. Truly, as persons with albinism, we've gone through a lot. Many of our colleagues, friends have been killed because of the misperceptions. Personally, I was called a curse in a community that I was born. My mother was stopped to be invited to other places with me, thinking that he will spread a curse. I was told that I shouldn't go to school because nothing I can do. And even though I go to school, I can't even get a job. But going through a lot has not let us be down. We've tried our level best to challenge the thought and what people think of us. We've truly lived a life beyond the limit or beyond the limitation that they've given us. Truly, many of us are now coming out of this bold voice. We are so proud of people like Ms. Ike, the UN independent expert on persons with albinism. With his work has really amplified our voice. Now we have many lawyers, we have many doctors, we have many teachers and different professions. This has shown that we've defied all odds that people has been putting, all the thought that people were having about us. Truly, this is a true definition of strengths beyond all odds. I have a new song called We Are Strong, which tries to show us that we are strong, and indeed you are strong. Please enjoy it.
To tell you, we have a voice, we can speak and be heard, we can read and write, we can sing and dance, we can do a whole lot of things. We are strong, we are strong, we goals every day. Embrace the challenges and never let adversity steal your dream. Hold your dream. No, no, no. What doesn't kill you make you stronger. I'm proud to tell you we are stronger. We're never gonna back down. Twakolera down. Put it oh, yeah. We are strong, we are strong, we are strong. You and I, we are strong. We are standing beyond all odds. Just because we are strong, we have the strength beyond all odds. You and I, we are strong. Life challenges are not supposed to paralyze you. They are supposed to help you to discover who you are. And out of suffering, have emerged the strongest souls. The most massive characters are shared with scars. We have discovered we are strong beyond all odds. And we are not ready to give up. We are strong. We're never gonna back down. Twakolera down. Put it oh, yeah. We're never gonna back down. Twakolera down. Put it oh, yeah. We're never gonna back down. Twakolera down. Put it oh, yeah.
Thank you so much, Peter, for that wonderful message of hope and strength. I think if we have learned anything during the pandemic, then it is that we are all in the same storm. Regardless of the type of boat we're in, we all needed to reshape the way we work, learn, and socialize during this COVID storm. All right. As mentioned earlier, I will take some time a little later to talk to Mike and Antoine about their project of the Global Albinism Alliance. But in anticipation to that discussion, let's now hear about a recent and outstanding accomplishment of this young alliance.
In June 2020, within the frame of its pilot phase, the Global Albinism Alliance organised a worldwide survey of albinism organisations. 146 associations, NGOs, foundations and other albinism support groups operating in 80 different countries across all regions of the world responded to the survey. A report was issued last month. It is available in English, French, Spanish and Portuguese. The groundbreaking document gathers a lot of data. When put together, makes it the most comprehensive picture of albinism organisations around the world to date. The data collected allows us the opportunity not only to learn about albinism organisations and their leadership and their challenges, it also illustrates the strong support expressed for the creation of a Global Albinism Alliance. This worldwide survey provides an excellent baseline towards the official registration of the Global Albinism Alliance and shows how strong and active the worldwide albinism community is.
Wow, congratulations, Mike and Antoine. That was incredible. Really, what you and your team did this past year is just amazing. I would have never guessed that so many albinism organizations around the world existed. Talking about albinism organizations, here are a few reports on activities conducted in Africa and Europe by groups who met COVID-19 challenges and continued to be strong.
According to the 2011 National Census of Namibia, it is reported there are about 1,000 persons living with albinism in the country. And with the disruption of regular service provision caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, Sinastra and its partners saw the need to bring the services closer to the people. To date, Sinaswa has donated over 9,000 tubes of sunscreen at the value of 3.4 million Namibian dollars.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, good night. My name is Patricia MC Logan, the Executive Director of Liberia Albinism Society, speaking from Liberia. Let me just say thank you to all those who are listening. During the COVID-19, we were able to gather our members through Zooms, through interaction, through phones and other things to enable them to protect themselves for COVID, and we were able to explain to them how the importance of you protecting yourself from the virus. We were able to tell them to stay away from social gatherings, wear a face mask. During the time of the COVID, we were able to distribute some non-food and food items. It came from our national government, other charity institutions were able to provide 4% of albinism in our country. We was able to distribute it across the nation. And again, to all of our international partners that are watching this video, that we are still observing the COVID-19. We hope that we will stay away from social gathering. And let me thank all those who will be going into the International Albinism Awareness Day on June 13. Let us also observe the COVID-19 and stay away from social gathering.
Hello everyone, my name is Nancy and I am the current Mr. and Miss Albinism Zimbabwe 2021 First Princess. This pageant is an annual event which is under the Miss Albinism Zimbabwe Trust, which was founded and is currently being orchestrated and directed by the beautiful Miss Brenda Mudzimu, whose passion and vision is to promote and to protect the rights of people with albinism like myself. Regardless of the COVID-19 pandemic, this competition was a huge success, all thanks to our sponsors who came through for us. This year's theme was Embracing New Horizons, and the whole event was being broadcasted live on Nash TV Zimbabwe. Contestant number 10! The success of this pageant and all the other pageants the last couple of years should be attributed to all the sponsors who show up and come and help us achieve our dreams. So to everyone who has showed us support in the past and is still showing us support today, on behalf of myself and the reigning team of 2021, we would like to say thank you so much and may God bless you abundantly.
Hi, my name is Elif and I'm from Turkey. First of all, we would like to thank the Global Albinism Alliance, which brought us together with albinism associations all around the world. As Turkey Albinism Association, the most important thing we accomplished over the past year was to turn the pandemic into an opportunity. So people with albinism are spread across different cities in Turkey. Most of the activities we planned to do face-to-face had to move to online platforms. But in this way, we had the chance to reach more people. We go live on Instagram, we held experts talks with our psychologists, we've got regular meetings with our members and volunteers. I could say that after a while, we were the ones who received invitations to talk about albinism. So this year helped us to raise awareness about albinism by talking about it. Even though there are distances between us, together we will continue to grow stronger. So what we say, strength beyond all odds.
Hello, I am Pepe Solves, Vice President of ALBA, the Spanish Association in Support of People with Albinism. During this pandemic year, ALBA's activity has slowed down, but despite everything, we have continued with our projects. In addition to our annual meetings, which were held online and had the usual amount of interest, I would like to highlight the presentation of the results of the project Obstacle Course, the Inclusion of Young People with Albinism Through Sports, which we have developed with the help of 7 other European associations. These results are a methodological guide for the inclusion of young people with albinism through sport, and a series of videos showcasing the adaptation tools for the best sport practices for people with albinism. It has been a tough year, but we continue strong beyond all odds in the fight to improve the quality of life of people with albinism.
Hello, my name is Perpetua Senkoro, Regional Coordinator of the African Albinism Alliance. We are a consortium of organizations working to promote the dignity, rights and welfare of persons with albinism across the African region through human rights advocacy. And our main objective, amongst others, is to facilitate the implementation of the African Plan of Action on Albinism 2021-2031 through facilitating development of national action plans in African countries and lobbying for government funding for implementing those action plans. In this International Albinism Awareness Day, we join our fellow advocates for persons with albinism in Africa and beyond, and reiterate the theme that we should continue forward in strength against all the odds that we face, regardless of all the challenges that we come across. We people with albinism should continue speaking in one voice for our rights. Thank you.
Thanks very much to those who shared stories of their perseverance in difficult times. We will have more such stories a little later. But now it is my privilege to introduce a special guest. Our next speaker is a shining example of strength. Nigerian-born Ikpamwosa Aiki Iro overcame much adversity that comes with being born with albinism in sub-Saharan Africa to become one of the most accomplished advocates for people with albinism around the world. She was designated in June 2015 as the first UN independent expert on the enjoyment of human rights for persons with albinism. The vision of Ms. Iro's mandate is driven by the cross-cutting principle of the UN Sustainable Development Goals, leaving no one behind, starting with the furthest behind first. In this context, she has worked with and advised many organizations and governments. Ms. Iro's work has been acknowledged with many awards and recognition around the world. Please welcome Ms. Iro.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ike Ero, and I am the United Nations expert on albinism. It is a pleasure to be here with you all today to celebrate International Albinism Awareness Day 2021 via video. This year, we celebrate with the theme, Strength Beyond All Odds. This theme was chosen for several reasons. One, to highlight the good qualities of people with albinism around the world. Two, to show that people with albinism were made to defy all odds. Three, to celebrate how people with albinism worldwide are meeting and exceeding all expectations. This is a fact. In fact, these are facts that I have witnessed in the last 6 years while serving on this mandate at the United Nations. Since I began working at the UN in 2015, the situation of people with albinism has become increasingly mainstreamed. It has become normalized in human rights circles and also in the mainstream media. Also in this time, scores of people with albinism and their organizations representing them have increased in their capacity, and many of them have received funding for the first time. Also in this time, while serving on this mandate, many countries that reported attacks against people with albinism have not been reporting them anymore. Although unfortunately, some countries continue to have reports of attacks in the Africa region. The good news is that the African Union, in collaboration with my mandate, has developed an action plan to bring an end to these atrocities. And that plan of action is simply a roadmap of concrete measures to help government and other stakeholders to carry out activities and interventions that will bring an end to these atrocities. In addition, I am happy to see that the Africa region has now developed several sub-regional coalitions, including the newly formed Africa Albinism Alliance. Other regions, such as South America, are also advancing in their coalition building. I also see a lot of indication of similar action in various parts of Asia. At the international level, the Global Albinism Alliance is taking good shape, conducting studies that have never been conducted before on albinism, and is fast becoming a global focal point for people with albinism, their family members, as well as researchers of albinism. In a few weeks, I will be finishing my mandate at the UN and another person will take my position. However, I will never abandon this cause. It is personal, and I am determined that children coming after you and I who have albinism will have an excellent experience. I will be here in my personal capacity to support everyone in their endeavors to make discrimination and stigma against people with albinism a faint memory. I will also be here to support researchers and every public education effort as best as I can. It has truly been an honor and a privilege to serve people with albinism and their family members at the UN and internationally. I believe the best is yet to come. I thank you all. I wish everyone a fantastic International Albinism Awareness Day 2021. Let's keep showing the world that we have strength beyond all odds. I thank you.
I really think it's hard to express in words the depth of our gratitude for your work, IK. Thank you so much and best of luck for the next chapter of your life. So, I think it's time that we shared some more exciting news about all the good work being done around the world for people with albinism. Antoine, where would you like to fly to now?
Well, let me think. How about Latin America?
Awesome, I like that. And I would also suggest stopping in Nepal, Fiji, and Australia on the way back. How about that?
Sure, let's go.
Hello, everyone. During this 2020-2021 year, the Albinos Chile Corporation was awarded with the first state funding from the National Disability Service, with which we are implementing the project UV365. This project has allowed us to deliver sun protection to 150 people, and it has also permitted us to develop a communication campaign that we invite you to see. We also published the first guide for teachers and parents of students with albinism in our country, sponsored by the Ministry of Education and the Metropolitan University of Educational Sciences. This guide is now free and available for the whole world to access. We wish you a happy 13th of June. The National Argentinian Foundation, Simplemente Amigos, during a very complicated and difficult year for everyone, has continued with the publication of its quarterly online magazine, Albinismo Latinoamericano. In this magazine, we cover all the aspects and topics related to albinism, such as dermatology, ophthalmology, sports, art, cooking, life stories, parents new to albinism, Latin American organizations, etc. This publication aims to be an instrument for persons with albinism, teachers, professionals, organizations, family and friends, and the civil society in general. We work at presenting albinism through a positive lens. We are equal to any human being. We have the same functional autonomy as anyone else. So through this magazine, we try to instill our motto, which is, the sky is the limit.
Somos así.
The SOS Albinos Panama Foundation was created in 1999 at the initiative of Dr. Pascal Jambron and a group of supporters. It was created with the intent to raise awareness within the general population about the situation of PWAs in Panama and to manage support to improve their quality of life. It has since then fought for our rights. Our greatest achievement this year has been the approval of Law 210. This law was presented by the Foundation to the National Assembly of Panama in 2019 and was eventually approved on April 28, 2021 by the President of the Republic of Panama. Law 210 declares June 13th as the National Day of Awareness of People with Albinism. It also includes preventative measures and the use of other provisions. For the SOS Albinos Panama Foundation, this law is a big step forward in a 21-year journey of working alongside PWAs from Panama.
Força para tudo.
Strength beyond all odds.
Brasil.
Apaoba, Bahia, Brazil. One of the successful actions that Apaoba carried out in 2020 was the organization of its first virtual seminar that addressed the visibility of people with albinism in the movement of people with disabilities. This event gathered more than 100 participants from various Brazilian states, as well as guests from Chile, Argentina, and Portugal. This action contributes to the dissemination of knowledge and information along with increasing our visibility and prominence. Another important action launched as an initiative of AOBA and in progress in 2021 was the creation of a national collective with the presence of people with albinism from several states of Brazil. We are meeting continuously with the Ministry of Health to implement the healthcare policy for people with albinism. Nothing above us, without us.
My name is Sabina Mare and I am from the Fiji Islands. My name is Cecilia Ngalulu and I'm from Fiji. Over the past 12 months, the Fiji Albinism Project representing Fiji and the Oceania has modified events due to COVID. But in the background, the project has forged data links with the Ministry of Health and Education. Fiji, a Pacific island country of more than 300 islands but less than 1 million people, has a high rate of people with albinism, possibly as high as 1 in 700 in the Itaukei or indigenous population. Fiji became the first country whose government provided sunscreen at no cost for people with albinism through hospitals, clinics, schools, and community outreach. Our organization and project offices continue to develop pathways with the government to distribute sunscreens. Booklets for the children and their teachers are being distributed to the schools explaining the dangers of the sun and the importance of the sunscreen. During a year of unprecedented global challenges, we have continued to show our strength beyond all odds. Thank you.
Good morning and a very happy Albinism Day. As the whole world is a victim of pandemic and a supportive hand is needed in any way possible. National Disabled Albino Nepal also became a small part in this movement to provide support to the most vulnerable group of Nepal, that is the albino people, who are not considered as disabled in Nepal and hence could not get any support from the government or any other social organization. Therefore, National Disabled Albino Nepal conducted a food relief distribution program which was held in 2 phases. The first phase took place on 13th of June 2020, providing food relief to 20 albino families which could last for a month. And the second phase took place from 16th January to 28th April 2021 in Gorkha district, in which 30 albino families were provided food relief. The NGO will continue working for the betterment of albino people of Nepal with respect from different shades of white. So let's be strong beyond all odds. Thank you.
When COVID halted our Australian conference plans, we put our energies into updating and expanding resources on our website for all things albinism. We worked with health professionals to provide information to understand albinism, the eye and its effects on vision, genetics, sun protection. We consulted with members on how parents and families can support children as they grow. The skills, tools and technology to accommodate low vision in everyday living. Where to go to learn these skills and how to finance the technology. Information and advice for educators for all levels of schooling. Most important are the stories from our members. Meeting challenges to achieve what sighted people achieve, just doing it differently and demonstrating strength beyond all odds.
It is so great to hear that many albinism groups around the world find the strength to overcome the probabilities against their success. Coming up, we will hear from generous organizations who lend a helping hand to people with albinism. Our next guest was born in Hong Kong. She is the 4th child of a Chinese family and the only one born with albinism. Connie Chiu grew up in Sweden, where she studied arts and journalism. Now a model and jazz singer, Connie is here to perform for us the first song that she ever learned to play on the guitar.
Hello, my name is Connie Chiu and I'm here to sing you a song. The song I'm going to sing is called A Place in the Sun, and it's the first song I learned on guitar. But today I'm going to play it on my ukulele. The reason I picked this song is because a place in the sun to me means a place in the world, because the sun is not always easy for people with albinism. But as long as you have sunscreen, sunglasses, clothes to cover you up, a hat to wear, you're absolutely fine. And I hope that, and I wish that people of albinism would have possibilities to have these things to protect themselves in the sun, because then you can just enjoy it and you can be part of this world happily in the sun. And before I sing, I like to say a few words, especially for IK, because you're moving on, just like the lyrics in this song, you're moving on. I like to thank you for all the work you've done, and I wish you all the best. You're moving on to new adventures, and let's keep in touch. So here we go. This is A Place in the Sun. Like a long, lonely stream, I keep running towards a dream, moving on, moving on. Like a branch on a tree, I keep reaching to be free, moving on, moving on. Oh, there's a place in the sun where there's hope for everyone, where my poor restless heart got to run. Oh, there's a place in the sun, and before my life is done, got to find me a place in the sun. Like an old dusty road, I get weary from the load, moving on, moving on. Like this tide trouble earth, I've been rolling since my birth, moving on, moving on. Oh, there's a place in the sun where there's hope for everyone, where my poor restless heart got to run. There's a place in the sun, and before my life is done, got to find me a place in the sun. There's a place in the sun where there's hope for everyone, where my poor restless heart got to run. There's a place in the sun, and before my life is done, got to find me a place in the sun. Got to find me a place in the sun.
Thank you, Connie, for reminding us of the truth that all people have an equal place in this world. Mike, it seems to me that you really enjoyed this song, didn't you?
I surely did. I think Connie is a great talent and an inspiration and potentially a role model to those young women out there who may want to follow in her footsteps.
Yes, absolutely. She is. Amazing. Right. Going back now to albinism organizations. I have read in the Global Albinism Alliance worldwide survey that most of these organizations are led by people with albinism or family members. But our next group of presentations includes several organizations managed by those who are outside of the albinism community. These generous leaders show not only strength against all odds, but deep kindness for others.
I'm Dr. Prabha Choksi. I'm an ophthalmologist and the founder of Dr. Choksi Albinism Foundation. I believe real charity and philanthropy is to give your time, use your knowledge and expertise in changing lives. When I realized that children with albinism were thrust into blind school just for a pair of prescription photochromatic glasses, I started offering my services free of cost to all children with albinism and also providing them with free prescription photochromatic glasses. During the challenging times of COVID-19, Dr. Choksi Albinism Foundation continued prescribing the glasses and also ensuring that the children that were supported by the foundation were in school. Children from poor families were provided with food packages.
Happy International Albinism Awareness Day.
Hi, I'm Peter Ash, founder and CEO of Under the Same Sun in Vancouver, Canada. International Albinism Awareness Day, it's a great celebration. I think back to 2014, when, by a motion of the UN General Assembly, the day was established. And then to 2015, the very first year we all celebrated it together. Just think, around the world, groups like ours are celebrating the achievements of people with albinism. Strength beyond all odds. That's this year's theme, and I'm proud to celebrate it with you. Under the Same Sun has been at the work of championing the human rights of people with albinism around the world since our inception in 2008. I think of the challenges our students faced this past year in Tanzania as the pandemic globally challenged all of us. We had several hundred students in Tanzania that all of a sudden were told schools were closed. A number of our students had no homes to go to, so we had to find ways to quickly relocate them from their schools into safe accommodations. Of course, people with albinism have particular security needs in a country like Tanzania because of the killings and attacks that have occurred there. So our team, both locally and here in Canada, worked feverishly to find accommodations to keep our kids safe. Some of you have followed us online and know of the challenges during that time. I'm proud to say it worked, and we put together a great program of protection and learning for our students during the period of time that the schools were closed. I'm also happy to say that none of our staff or students have been severely affected by COVID-19. It's been a good year, and strength beyond all odds certainly exemplifies it very well. Happy International Albinism Awareness Day for me and all of us at Under the Same Sun.
Our pilot project in Malawi was launched in August 2020 in 6 different districts. We have provided training for health workers and members of the Albinism Society. 78 people have been trained so far. We have held clinics in remote areas every 4 months. We educate on topics such as understanding albinism and photo protection. We teach how to use Emoji Max, a sunscreen designed for people with albinism in Africa. We also educate about skin cancer prevention. We provide skin screenings where we look for erythema, actinic keratosis, and other malignancies. This program is made possible thanks to the help from our partners, the Association of Persons with Albinism of Malawi, Standing Voice, the Ministry of Gender, and Kamatsu Central Hospital. At this time, there have been more than 1,000 people who have benefited. Looking ahead at our way forward, we plan on expanding into more districts every year. We are looking at local production of sunscreen and prioritizing the hire of people with albinism. We are Beyond Sun Care, caring for people with albinism in Africa.
We've been using this cream for the past 1 year now.
And it's very good on our skin. Before, we were using the foreign sun lotion.
And we were having side effects, like the inching in our skins. And even while using it, we also have sunburns. But since we've been using this cream from Engage Now Africa, we don't have any side effects.
It's very good and it protects us 100%.
Thanks to Engage Now Africa.
Isn't it wonderful to have so much support from people outside of the albinism community? It's just incredible. I think we owe these organizations a debt of gratitude. And now, everybody, let's not wait any longer and let's finally hear about the project of the Global Albinism Alliance. Antoine, Mike, are you ready to answer some questions about your work?
I am. Let's do it.
Sure, let's go.
Awesome. So tell me, how and when did this whole project of Alliance get started, and how did you guys get involved?
Well, Nadine, there were at least 3 attempts to form a global albinism alliance in the past. Once in the 1990s, a small group attempted it, and again, a larger group tried in about 2012 or 2013. But unfortunately, those efforts were not sustainable. So about 2 years ago, IAAD approached us about the possibility of making the 3rd attempt of creating a global albinism alliance. At the time, I was the executive director at NOAA, and I agreed to join in that effort.
And I was busy volunteering for Jeune Espoir, the French Albinism Association, and for Albinism Europe, the European network of albinism organizations. And so all 3 of us worked on organizing a meeting that took place in Paris at the end of January 2020, with about, I think, 27 delegates from albinism organizations representing all regions of the world. And so at the end of that meeting, we all together decided to move forward and work on the creation of a global albinism alliance. And we also decided to start by running a pilot phase that is about 1 year, during which we would be operating as an alliance, but without being registered, so that we would be gaining experience, and also we could run a worldwide survey, the one that was mentioned previously. And eventually, the goal was to register the alliance at the end of that phase, to base the registration on the experience gathered.
Wow, that's incredible. So you started that pilot phase right before the pandemic.
Exactly.
That's good timing.
Very good timing. Of course, it was probably not the easiest time to start that work, but I think we managed to get some good work done. We particularly managed to run that worldwide survey. We believe that there are about 200 organizations working on albinism currently around the world. And as mentioned previously by Liz, our colleague, we managed to have 146 organizations respond to our survey despite the pandemic, including new organizations that were just created, and that shows how active the albinism community is. We learned a lot from that survey. We discovered that during this past decade, there's been an incredible growth of albinism organizations. And we've also discovered that there are regions that are very, very well covered. We received many responses from organizations based in sub-Saharan Africa, but that there are also regions of the world that are not covered or very little covered, such as Asia or the Middle East or North Africa.
Wow.
And
yes, Mike, please.
So one of the things that we learned is that while these many organizations face challenges in varying degrees, the basic situations that all albinism groups have some commonality. There's a lot of similarity, and the challenges that they face are based largely on the fact that there is not a lot of information about albinism, and the difficulties that different people with albinism around the world face are largely based on the fact that people in society and educators and others don't really understand albinism.
So now that you've gathered all that information about all these albinism organizations from around the world, what do you think should be the role of the Global Albinism Alliance then?
One of the main things that we believe will be the role of the Global Albinism Alliance is to become the voice of the worldwide albinism community, and to work to spread accurate and authoritative information about albinism throughout the world.
And maybe if I can add, I think one of the functions should be also to facilitate communication between the different albinism organizations from around the world, so that some collaborations can arise, and so that there can be some exchange of information, some exchange of good practices, of experience. But we believe that what remains the most important is the work that is being done by the local and the national albinism organizations on the ground. And so I think the work of the Alliance will be to help these organizations be stronger and be more efficient in whatever they're doing.
Amazing. So what's up next? What are your plans? What are your plans for the next couple of months?
Well, that's a good question. I think we're going to manage to keep ourselves quite busy. We're definitely going to focus on getting the Alliance registered. Our plan is to have this done by the end of the year. So this is going to require making decisions on the functions, but also the structure and the membership of the Alliance. And of course, we're also going to work on putting the necessary infrastructure in place so that the day the Alliance is registered, we can start operating at full pace. And I should not forget mentioning, by the way, that we're going to have to choose a logo for the Alliance. So, and we're very much looking forward to hearing your opinion on the logo. So I'm speaking to the audience, the worldwide audience now. Please have a look on the website of the IAAD and give us your opinion on the 3 options of logo that we're offering.
Amazing. So tell me a little bit about how is the work of the Alliance getting done?
That's a great question, Nadine. And, you know, my experience working with NOAA, and I'm sure Antoine's experience with Genespois, and anybody who's worked with albinism groups around the world, it generally starts with a few very dedicated volunteers who take an idea and try to make it reality. And we've been blessed with a lot of help, you know, from a few folks, Julio Garcia and Liz Beals, who you heard from earlier, have joined with Antoine and myself and others to, as volunteers, build the basis of this organization. The reality is that I think all albinism organizations start as volunteer organizations, and they evolve over time. And I think that as we grow and put this structure together with input from the global albinism community, we're going to then need to turn to raising money. And our goal then is to make the Global Albinism Alliance a sustainable organization that will be able to, as Antoine said earlier, help albinism groups around the world do a better job.
Wow. And is there a website or anything where we could find more information?
No, there is no website. That is no website yet. Of course, we're going to work in the next few months at putting together a website. This is absolutely mandatory. But for now, feel free to visit our Facebook page and exchange with us through that Facebook page. You can also, of course, contact us by email, sending your messages to albinismalliance.pilot@gmail.com.
Great. Thank you so much for answering all my questions. We are delighted to hear more. Congratulations to what you and your team, what you already did. It's incredible. And best of luck to you. Amazing.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're happy to have shared this with you.
Yes, thanks. All right, let's now go back to our year in review. Human rights principles include the right to the highest attainable standard of health. Protection from the sun and appropriate eye care are essential for people with albinism. For our final group of presentations, we will hear from groups working to address the health and well-being of people with albinism.
Albinism Russia. Good things happened in 2020. In July 2020 was opened a coordinating support center for patients with albinism in Russia. 126 patients from 42 different regions of Russia and 5 Russian-speaking countries joined this organization in 2020. 70 families with albinism were given sunscreens. In Anuridia Center was developed a care program for patients with albinism. 65 patients with albinism were fully examined under the program. 51 patients with albinism were given free photochromic glasses with prescriptions and sunglasses. 15 students with albinism were given an electronic magnifier Connect 12. We wish to all patients with albinism good health and success in 2021.
Hi guys, I'm Eliran and this is Ariel. I'm the CEO and founder of ALBI, the Israeli Albinism Association. Our biggest achievement will take place on July 7th in Ichilov Hospital in Tel Aviv, our first medical conference. We're going to introduce the first medical clinic for PWA in Israel. The clinic will provide high-level treatments in the fields of skin, genetics, and vision. And for the first time, there will be a connection between those clinics for research. So, happy Awareness Day. Bye-bye.
In 2020, the Finnish Albinism Association developed its relationship with other organizations. One of these organizations was a Finnish health care service called the Health Village. The Health Village has created a so-called virtual hospital that offers content online for every citizen in Finnish and in Swedish. In this virtual hospital, the Health Village shares current information about diseases and how to treat them. This way, it is possible to develop special medical care and unify the care in every hospital district in Finland. Associations like the Finnish Albinism Association can be in direct contact with Finnish medical professionals with the help of the Health Village. This makes it possible for people with albinism to influence their own treatment. In 2020, Jeune Espoir, the French Association of People with Albinism, and the Scientific Committee of Albinism Europe organized the 5th European Days of Albinism, the 5th EDA. The first EDA conference took place in Paris in 2012 and was also organized by Jeune Espoir, after which the event was held every other year in a different European country. The main part of this conference series is an international scientific congress which gathers researchers and medical practitioners specializing in albinism. The goal is to improve medical knowledge and treatments offered to people with albinism. The 5 EDA was supposed to be held in April 2020 in Bordeaux, but the pandemic forced us to postpone the conference until November and to move to a fully virtual format. The outcome was exceptional. Instead of 60 participants as initially expected, we had more than 230 coming from 41 countries. Over the course of 4 days and a total of almost 20 hours of programming, 44 speakers presented their work and their discoveries in many different fields such as ophthalmology, dermatology, genetics, cell biology, and syndromic forms of albinism. We look forward to seeing you at the next conference in 2022, with even more participants and countries represented.
I'm Lei from Chinese Organization for Albinism. In the past year, we have been so proud to start a research project on whole exome sequencing for persons with albinism in China, collaborating with geneticists and physicians. The project has recruited 1,000 persons with albinism and has finished the sampling, hoping to receive preliminary results in the next year.
Hello from the HPS network. Happy Awareness Day. It's Donna Appel and Carmen Camacho. We've had an amazing year, but in the last 2 months, even we gave our annual family conference, our Mother's Workshop. We had 2 inaugural events, the International Research Conference and our Global Community Network. The Meeting of Minds is a workshop that brings together 50 researchers that are working on HPS. We love them dearly. And we just finished our Puerto Rico conference, which was largely in Spanish. We are excited to calculate the disease prevalence of HPS in all nationalities, and we're working with the Broad Institute, and we're super excited about supporting gene therapy research at the National Institutes of Health. Carmen has been super busy.
And we've been very busy keeping our community together during the pandemic with Spanish calls and information calls, and even we had yoga classes and cooking classes. So from the HPS network, happy Albinism Awareness Day.
We're here for you.
Hello, I am Johnny Chancel Nagamona, President of the AJCA Association and President of the Network of Albinism Organization. Today, I would like to tell you about a skin cancer screening and treatment campaign that we launched on January 31st of this year. As you know, skin cancer is the prime cause of death among people with albinism in Africa. This is why on January 31st, our social clinic, which provides free services to all people with albinism living in the Congo, launched a campaign to raise awareness and treat skin cancer for all people with albinism in our country. We initially planned to treat about 150 people, but today we have already treated more than 500. And we will not stop with this work because for us, it is a battle that we must continue to fight. Therefore, today we would like to call for partners and all people of goodwill who can support us in this fight, because the AJCA clinic is the only clinic in Central Africa that treats people with albinism for free. Truly, I thank you for lending your helping hand so that the fight can continue.
Thanks very much to those organizations who are looking out for our health, now and into the future. For the last part of our program, we are very happy to introduce a new talent to the worldwide albinism community. Woli K, a person with albinism, was born in Fiji. It has been said that Woli K cannot write a sad song. He will wrap up today's program with a message we all need to take to heart. Despite all the challenges albinism brings, you own your own happiness.
Bully Vanaka, my name is Woli K. I'm a singer-songwriter from Sydney, Australia. I'm a proud albino Fijian living here, doing music for a living and being able to share my music to the rest of the world. I moved from Fiji to Sydney at the age of 4 to get away from the harsh climate and also from the ignorance of our people. And I'm able to embrace my authenticity in being a proud albino, sharing light and educating people along the way. The song I'm about to introduce to you is a song I released in 2020, and it's a song that's really dear to my heart. It just talks about, the name of the song is called Joy, and it's just letting the people, letting the world know that no one is able to steal your joy unless you give it to them. The lyrics of the song, there's part of the song where it says, "You can never steal my joy. In the morning, in the noontime, you can never steal my joy." I hope you guys enjoy the song. Feel free to follow me on all different platforms of social media, and I hope you enjoy this song. Rahwa
There's always that joy every morning when I wake up every day. I see you on my mind, yes, you're on my mind. Gratitude's the way to start my day. I get a bit lonely though, a bit lonely, with nothing more to say. So tell me if you wanna, so tell me if you need a new mantra. Yes, help is on the way. Let me hear you say peace and love in the morning, brings you more in the evening, joy. You can never steal my, yep, you can never steal my joy in the morning. You can never steal my joy in the evening. You can never steal my joy. You can never steal my joy. You can never steal my joy in the morning. You can never steal my joy in the evening. You can never steal my joy. You can never steal my. Your life is so amazing. Welcome to the beautiful island of Fiji, man. That you really want, so you gotta stand on this side. It get a bit lonely though, a bit lonely, with nothing more to say. So tell me if you wanna, so tell me if you need a new magic. Yep, help is on the way. Let me hear you say peace and love in the morning, praise in the evening time. You can never steal my. Yep, you can never steal my joy in the morning. You can never steal my joy in the evening. You can never steal my joy. You can never steal my joy. You can never steal my joy in the morning. You can never steal my joy in the evening. You can never steal my joy. You can never steal my joy. You can't never ever 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 steal my joy. God's great joy. Not changing joy. You can never steal my. Yep, you can never steal my joy in the morning. You can never steal my joy in the evening. You can never steal my joy. You can never steal my joy. You can never steal my joy in the morning. You can never steal my joy in the evening. You can never steal my joy. You can never steal my joy. You can't never ever steal my joy. You can't never can't never ever steal my joy. You can't never ever steal my joy.
Wow, that was fun. Guys, we're already at the end. It's incredible. We hope that our program has lifted you up and that it gives you encouragement to continue to be persevere in the face of adversity. It is so amazing to see all the work being done around the world. We have made so much progress, and let's be optimistic for the future. We have shown the world our determination. Let's celebrate today that we are strong beyond all odds. Antoine and Mike, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Nadine. You did a wonderful job. And I'd also like to thank our three wonderful performers who inspired and uplifted us today. And I would like to especially thank Ike Iro for her words of wisdom and wishing her the best of luck.
And I think we should also thank once again all the albinism organizations that contributed to making this celebration so rich. Thanks a lot to all of them, and thank you to all of you for joining this event. Thank you.
Yes, thanks everybody. Bye.
Goodbye. Au revoir.
Goodbye.
so proud to tell you, we have a voice, we can speak and be heard. We can read and write, we can sing and dance, we can do a whole lot of things. We are strong, we are strong, we are strong.